for flooding in this area because of the fact that the storm isn't moving a whole lot. These grounds are saturated, and we've already had 1 inch of rain reported. Again, the bright red polygon area over Lyons and Longmont and Berthoud is a tornado warning in effect until 7:30. Video confirmation, we saw it here in the 9 newsroom of that tornado in Berthoud. We are efforting information out of that area. Crews are on scene as we have had reports of potential structure and property damage in and around the Berthoud area. If you are in Lyons, Berthoud, Meade, Johnstown, Milliken, or Platteville, Longmont, I need you to stay indoors. Do not try to photograph this storm. Do not try to get in and around a body of water you don't know how deep it is. Do not try to drive through water that you think your car can make it through, because areas that may experience flooding in the next 15 to 20 minutes will be southern Greeley, Longmont, southwestern Loveland, Evans, Firestone, Johnstown, Milliken, Berthoud, Meade, and Gilchrist. Again, tornado warning remains out, mainly a hail-producing cell now, but certainly a history of producing rotation with that one tornado that touched down near Berthoud, and that tornado warning is out until 7:30. Cell is moving back toward the west, back toward the Lyons area, so again, we need you to take shelter in that area. That tornado warning, again, we're hoping will be canceled out, as a flash flood warning will continue in that area through 10:15 because a lot of water has fallen in a short amount of time and will be coming into areas that have not fully recovered from the September floods. And we have aerial flood advisories out. El Dorado Springs, Evans, Kersey, LaSalle, areas in and around Weld County, including Fort Collins and Greeley. Really be on the lookout for water. Don't try to drive through an area where you cannot see how deep the water is. New warnings coming through now, and those are Kansas. Right now, we really kind of want to focus on the tornado warning that remains in effect for the Boulder and Larimer County areas, and just the heavy flooding rain that continues to fall in that area as well. So we need you to stay indoors and take a weather radio with you if you can, so you can monitor when the danger has passed. This cell, unfortunately, is just kind of parked south of Berthoud, has a history of producing 1 inch diameter hail near Wellington, Fort Collins, Loveland. These are areas dealing with a fair amount of water and lightning as well coming out of those clouds. Do also want to remind you of a dangerous cell in Elbert County and Lincoln County. It's produced one tornado which touched down, stayed on the ground for 20 minutes, went back up into the clouds, came back down again. Calhan, Simla, Rama, these are areas that have seen pretty substantial tornadic development this afternoon in 1 to 2 inch diameter hail. That cell is tracking south. Carville, you are very near that storm pathway there. And again, reports of very large hail in and around the Rama area as we continue to monitor that storm, and additional development back in and around the Parker area, north of Castle Rock and outside of Larkspur and West Creek. Tornado watch out until 10. We're watching these cells pick up, develop, and move from the southwest to the northeast. So certainly those of you in the Douglas County area, be on the lookout. At this point, these cells here are non-severe and they're tracking to the northeast, but the atmosphere is very unstable and those storms could turn severe at any point. Further north of Denver, we have showers that are developing in the foothills, and they're kind of feeding into that almost stationary cell north of Boulder. The moisture is coming up out of Idaho Springs, west of Arvada, into that cell area, which is basically just kind of parked right over the top of the Berthoud area. And let's see here, I'm going to take this off of here and go back to the beginning again. We're going to continue to monitor this tornado warning, which does remain in effect for about 4 more minutes. Boulder County and Larimer County, dangerous storm system right over the top of you. And actually the track and path of this storm is toward the west. It's moving very slowly with moisture feeding into it on the southern flank. So we'll continue to watch that for you, as we're also watching the potential for flooding in areas that have already had so much water from the flooding in the past year, year and a half, and just from the May that we have seen. Incredible amounts of water coming in. The hail reports up and around Fort Collins, Greeley, South Greeley in the 1 to 1.5 inch diameter range. And as you can see from this image here, the cell is backing up along the Front Range foothills. It's moving west at 5 miles per hour, which is a little bit unusual and kind of counterintuitive to what you might expect. We'll zoom this back up here a little bit. And you can kind of see how it's showing more signs of hail than rotation at this point, which is good, but still a very dangerous cell, and it's really just not moving a whole lot. If you look at our index up at the very top here, you can see where my arrow is, there's light rain in green, heavy rain in the red and magenta, and where you see this magenta, that cloud top's probably 50,000 feet up into the atmosphere, producing the large hail and the torrential rainfall. So if I take off the radar here, a lot of lightning in the area, as you can see as well, and we'll take that off. These are really the areas that we're monitoring so very carefully here. And that would be Lyons, Berthoud, and Longmont for the tornado warning, which we hope is going to cancel out here in 2 minutes. And then a flash flood warning, which will continue until 10 o'clock for Berthoud, Johnstown, Longmont, Meade, Milliken, and the Platteville area. So putting the radar back over these warnings. Well, let me just show you how extensive this is now. You can see how this is feeding out into the South Platte and the Cache la Poudre, and there's already so much water in that area now, and this will be an ongoing story for us as we head into the evening hours. So let me put the radar back on here now. We'll kind of see the structure of this cell as I loop it for you here. Almost like moisture coming up from the south, colliding along a boundary from the north, formed over Johnstown and Platteville, and then moved back toward the west, where sometimes that creates kind of an upslope component for us. So you can kind of see how it's almost like two cells merged north of the Longmont area. And at this point, I have not had reports of more than one tornado touch down in the Berthoud area. And again, we're efforting pictures out of that area because we have had reports that there may be some structure damage in the area, and they're, I don't know, they're trying to find friends and neighbors and make sure that everybody is okay, and we're hoping we're going to be able to bring you some good news in that regard. Hail is just one piece of this story here. As I mentioned, 1 inch diameter hail, but an inch of rain has fallen in this flash flood warning zone as well. So it's not moved a whole lot, and what movement there is toward the west. So Lyons is really an area that if you're out and about, you need to take cover and take shelter, and please don't go out and try to photograph this storm. Oh, good. The tornado warning, I think, just canceled out. You notice it went over to magenta. Oh, that's great news. Okay, the tornado warning has been canceled for Lyons, Berthoud, and Longmont. Now our concern turns to flooding. All of the rain from this near stationary cell is going to create some major flooding issues here between now and 10 o'clock. Please do not drive through a body of water. You do not know how deep that water is. Please be mindful of your location in relationship to the foothills and the higher terrain, because water is going to be coming out of those canyons and down those creeks and tributaries, and it's going to be coming fast. Apparently we're getting some pictures in on our digital network. Amazing hail southeast of Simla. That's the tornado near Erie. That is the one that we believe touched down in the Berthoud area that may have created some damage in that area. Crews on the scene. Our Whitney Wild is up there and should be reporting for us this evening. We have that tornado picture again seen from a different vantage point in Meade. And again, there's the Erie picture as well. So please, if you are in a safe area, send your weather reports and pictures in. Otherwise, I do not want you to go out in this storm. I want you to be mindful of where you are in relation to the higher terrain and the water, because we have a flash flood warning out in areas that were hit very hard by the September floods. And we have some amazing pictures coming in from Elbert County, where we have been dealing with Yeah, oh, a new warning for that area as well. And the pictures on the digital network, 9news.com, are amazing. And I will go to that Elbert County storm in just a minute. But right now, this is really the big story, folks. This cell is just about parked over Longmont and Lyons.